Okay, hi guys. Welcome back to the 2911 podcast, a podcast curated for college students to help you give you hope and a future in college. I have a very, very special guest today. We have Harrison Keller, the president of the University of North Texas. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks, Allie. I'm excited to be here with you.
How was your morning? Walk me through your morning.
So today, it's been a great day so far. Today's our UNT Research Day. So I got to start the day in a ballroom full of UNT researchers, students from every college across UNT. And so it's just incredibly inspiring. And I was delighted to just get to hear about what folks are working on and research they're excited about. And I'm so proud of the progress we've made here at UNT, and excited about what's on the horizon for us.
10,000%. Now, walk us through your journey of how you got here at UNT.
Yeah, so I am just in the beginning of my sophomore year as president here at UNT. So I got here in August 2024. So the beginning of August, of course, everybody knows is one of the worst times to be in Texas and to be here on campus. There's that 2 weeks where it's just incredibly hot and everybody's still on vacation and the campus is pretty empty. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of August, the campus just comes to life, and it was unbelievable with all the students and faculty. Now, before I got here, I had been in Austin for about 25 years. I was the commissioner of higher education for the state of Texas for about 5 years, and before that, I'd been back and forth between UT Austin and the state capitol for about 20 years in different roles. So I got to know a lot of colleges and universities across the state and across the country. I had gotten to know about UNT. I knew some of the folks who were up here, and so when this job opportunity came available, I knew it was a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I'm so excited to be here.
So excited to have you. So tell us about your college experience.
So my college experience was pretty traditional. So right out of high school, I grew up in a farming community in West Texas called Plainview. That's in between Lubbock and Amarillo. I decided I wanted to go off to school, so I enrolled at the University of Notre Dame in northern Indiana. And growing up in the panhandle of Texas, I thought I knew what winter was like, but Notre Dame corrected that pretty quickly. I had the wrong clothes, I had the wrong shoes. But my high school was there were things that were great about my high school. We had a great high school band program. I had some great teachers. But we didn't have a lot of the kind of academic opportunities that folks in a lot of other high schools have. So it's what the state calls a property poor school district. So I ran out of math to take after my junior year of high school, for example, and I definitely had some gaps when I got up to Notre Dame, and it took me about 3 semesters to recalibrate. I lived on campus all 4 years. All the credits that counted towards my degree came from that one institution. And so that's pretty unusual now. That's how fewer than 17% of students go to college. And today, it's fundamentally different. So most of our students are bringing credits from high school. They've had AP, they've had dual credit. And it's a very different kind of entry and then into higher education than I had.
And what are those steps that you took in those 3 semesters that helped you recalibrate and get used to that college experience?
Yeah, so there was a lot of suffering for me. It was now it's Notre Dame, so you get purgatory time off for suffering. But I was I was being asked to write in a different way and read more and faster than I'd ever done before. I was way behind in my math skills, And so I had a lot of support from my friends. I had a lot of support from faculty, mentors, from my family, and still it was a painful transition. And then eventually I kind of got my legs under me, and I picked up momentum and was able to um, not just drink deep of Notre Dame, but have a lot of momentum coming out of Notre Dame and be able to jump right into directly into a Ph.D. program um, after my graduation. So I'll always be grateful to Notre Dame, to the philosophy department, to the marching band, and other things that I got to experience there. But that transition from high school into college really stuck with me. And in some ways, you could say maybe I never got over it because I keep coming back to issues around transitions from high school into college. I've worked on those issues in state policy and around high school reform. When I worked in the Texas legislature, when I was at UT Austin, one of the things I'm proud of is I founded a dual enrollment program called On-Ramps. And that program, we started out with we had about 166 students, I think, in one computer science class. They have more than 65,000 students a year who are able to take on-ramps classes now through UT Austin across the state. And that so that's you could draw a line from that to some of my experience that I had early on, because the experience I had was pretty jarring and also pretty familiar. I run into a lot of people that talk about how difficult their transition was. And I think we need to do a better job of signaling what the expectations are and giving students an opportunity to recalibrate before they're out of high school while the stakes are still low. Right now, I'm co-chairing a commission for the American Academy of Arts and Sciences on opportunities after high school. And so we're thinking about these issues around transitions from high school to college for the nation, and what kinds of recommendations we ought to make for state policymakers, for institutions like UNT, for community colleges, and others. And so we could have a whole conversation about these issues around transitions from high school to college. It's something I'm really passionate about.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I think it's also really stressful when going to even the students who are going from doing something they love, like marching band and theater in college, and now they're pursuing something that their parents want them to pursue, having to transition and kind of find their own. In your college experience, was there a specific moment where everything clicked and you were like, okay, I got this. I feel like I can do this and I want to kind of pursue this and continue to move forward?
I think by about my um, there were definitely some things that were encouraging. That was first 3 semesters or so, but about midway through my sophomore year, I think I started to feel a lot more confident about what I could do, about my writing. I was getting a little more into my major. I went to Notre Dame with the idea that I thought I might want to be either a government major or a philosophy major. I ended up being a philosophy major, and all my higher education is in philosophy, especially moral and political philosophy. And so I had some fantastic mentors. People I'll always remember and be indebted to. David Solomon, who taught my intro ethics class, or Alistair McIntyre, who taught advanced ethics class and helped mentor me in that transition from undergraduate to graduate school, that kind of thing. It's amazing. I think as all of us reflect on our journeys, there are those teachers, there are those mentors, those coaches, the band directors who see us, who encourage us, and sometimes it can be a pretty short interaction that makes a huge difference for the trajectory of your life. That might encourage you to say, you could do theater and film in college. Like you ought to consider taking that next step, or have you thought about going to graduate school and doing these other things? And those conversations are incredibly important. And so for me now at the university, I come to work every day, um, and every day I feel so privileged to be here because of the work we get to do, and helping people unlock their potential, figure out what their vocations are, what their passions are, and how do we how do we sort of meet you where you are, um, hold you at high expectations, but give you the support you need to take your talent as far as you want to take it. I mean, and it's an enormous privilege to get to do this work.
I agree. I agree. And you talked about your mentors and those moments that kind of changes your life, like the one sentence or the one interaction. Could you tell us a story where a mentor or someone really important to you said something to you that kind of changed your perspective on how you view life, how you view your education, um, and and yeah, explain more.
So I had an unbelievable dissertation mentor. So Henry Richardson is a professor of philosophy at Georgetown, and is just a lovely human, and a fantastic philosopher. And so I got interested in philosophy because I was interested in ethics and public policy, and I was interested in not just the academic philosophy, but I was interested in questions about sort of what kind of public policies are going to be fair and just and are going to help people uh, unlock their potential, be able to flourish and lead excellent lives. And so I was wrestling while I was in graduate school at one point, as I gotten through my coursework and just getting into dissertation, thinking about that pathway that I was on. So academic philosophy programs are mostly engineered to train academic philosophers to go off and be philosophy professors. And I felt this tug that my my vocation was probably a little different than that. And I still felt called to work on public policy. I still felt that I was interested in leadership, and I'd gotten exposed at Georgetown to university leadership. Also, I was the president of the Graduate Student Association there, so I got to interact with university leaders and get a sense of like what are the issues the university was wrestling with. So I was talking to my mentor about this, and Henry Richardson's father was Elliot Richardson, who was incredibly important, former cabinet secretary, and a real hero when you think about people in the United States in the 20th century who folks would hold up as as examples of strong moral leaders. So he was the attorney general who resigned rather than fire the Watergate special prosecutor when Nixon asked him to fire the special prosecutor. And so Henry had been on a path where he had been wrestling with, does he follow in his father's footsteps and become more of a policymaker and work in maybe in the federal government, or would he become an academic philosopher? And he ended up deciding his calling was more in academic philosophy. So I actually ended up having as my dissertation advisor one of the very best philosophers in the country I could have worked with, who would understand me and those issues. And Henry's counsel to me was defend your dissertation proposal and then take a leave of absence and either go work on the Hill in DC, go back to Texas, work in the legislature, and explore this. And either you then explore it and decide you want to go back to academic philosophy, or it might open up a whole new career path for me. That lunch conversation with Henry Richardson and his encouragement, his support, ended up being one of the most important conversations of my life.
Wow, that is beautiful. That is incredible. Um, and if you got to go back and talk to your freshman self now, what would you say?
I'd have a whole lot of things I'd like to go talk back and talk to my freshman self about. Um, it's like, for example, like, no, it's not a good idea to take that job working at 6 o'clock in the morning in the dining hall, um, but because that's just not going to play out for you well later in the day, for example. Um, so, so a couple of things. Um, I think that now if I were able to go back and talk to my 18, 19-year-old self, one of the things that I would try to encourage myself to do is to be willing to ask for help when I need it. One of the mistakes I made that a lot of students make when they get to college is you think, okay, well, I'm a smart guy. I did well in high school. I won the academic awards. Um, I'm seeing grades on papers now or on tests that I've never seen before. I just need to work harder. I just need to double down. I need to do this. And yeah, there's supports out there, but those are for other people. They're not that I should be able to do this myself. Well, that was a mistake. That was a big mistake, actually. And what happens is just doubling down on the strategies that worked for you in high school might not work in this new context. You might need some new tools in your toolbox. You might need some new ways to study. And what would have made my life so much easier, my grades so much better those first 3 semesters, is if I would have had the good sense to take advantage of supports that were there. One of the things that I hear now, last year, I set up a student advisory committee here at the university, and I told them if they'll meet with me regularly, then I will provide lunch. And so so they come, and then so we get together, and we have some wonderful, really candid conversations. I share what I'm working on, they share what they're working on, what they're wrestling with. I bounce ideas off of them about things we're thinking about doing at the university, and they actually do play a really important role for me now as president. But one of the things that stuck out for me that I've heard from a number of my student advisory committee members here at UNT is they'll either say that they wish they knew that different support services were there, or they wish they would have taken advantage of them. And so, like it's like one of the things I think is good to remember is, like, I don't know, think whoever your favorite athlete is, or somebody you think of as a star musician or performer. They all have coaches. They all have coaches. They all have people who they work with that help them refine their talents. So these are people who are at the peak, right, of their fields. We should all be willing to ask for help. We should all have coaches and support to help us take our talent as far as we want to take it.
Mm. And that's a great point. And what would you like, with the help of the advisors and the resources that we have here, what would you like to see from our students?
So, number one with the bullet is don't be a passenger. So, let's just stipulate all the UNT students, all those college students out there, they're all smart, right? They know how to do school. They were successful at doing school in high school. Um, when you get to college, though, don't just do school. It's an opportunity for you to explore new ideas, to push the limits of what uh, you're comfortable doing, what you've been able to achieve before, and to get help from some of the smartest people and most talented people you're ever going to meet in helping you get there. So you want to drink deep at that opportunity. I mean, you're paying the tuition, right? You're stepping away from your career path to be here um, for this transformational opportunity. And so drink deep of that. Don't be a passenger. Don't just do school. You need to be an active participant in your own learning and in defining your own academic and career path. Don't let your parents do it for you. Don't let your faculty do it for you. You've got to take ownership of that for yourself.
1,000%. And also, don't wait.
Yeah. Yeah, don't put it off. Don't be sitting there in a podcast telling people how, you wish you would have asked for help, when you first got to UNT. Like go now. Do it today, don't do it tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Because time flies. Time flies so fast. And the opportunities here, I mean, kind of segueing, UNT has one of the best jazz schools in the country. Or what will you like? What's the new phase of UNT? What would you like UNT to be known for?
So we're thinking a lot about this now. So we're doing a lot of strategic planning for the university. And so on November 5th, I'm going to give the State of the University address. We're going to roll out a new 5-year strategic plan for the university. I'm really excited about this. We've had more than 1,200 individuals have weighed in on that plan, and several of them are in working groups, focus groups that have met several times. We've done surveys of our alumni, of faculty, of students, of employers in the region. So we've gotten a ton of input that goes into this plan. One of the things that comes up again and again when I talk to employers is the pace of change now has accelerated. So things are moving faster than we ever expected. Things are changing in the workforce faster than we ever expected, and in some cases faster than we understand, especially because of AI. So our world is changing so fast. We've got to equip our students to be able to navigate change, to be able to adapt to change, even to be able to excel and lead through change. So that's the world that we live in right now. UNT needs to be known as a place that is an effective platform for equipping people to be able to navigate and lead through change. That means we have to be willing to change as a university. We've got to be willing to move faster. We've got to be willing to rethink some of our curriculum and how our programs are designed. That means we've got to have closer partnerships with employers to understand how their workforce needs are changing, how the challenges they're facing are changing, so we can bring those into our programs. We've got to get more students into internships, working on projects for industry earlier. That's really critical. Maybe that might be one of the very most important things that we can do for students. But UNT is never going to have the nicest buildings, the nicest amenities. We're never going to have the best climbing wall or build a lazy river. But we shouldn't aspire to any of that. None of that is going to really help our students, our faculty, or staff unlock their potential to be able to lead healthy and productive times, be able to lead through change. What we need to do is we need to lean into that responsibility to help everybody unlock their potential despite all of the changes that are swirling around us, and again, even to excel.
Yes, because college is a launching pad, and UNT has been that for me and so many other people.
It is. And I love that metaphor that college should be a launching pad. We should think of it as sort of a platform for human potential. So whether we're talking about our students, our faculty, our staff, this should be the place where you can push your talents. You develop your talents. You push yourself beyond what you thought you were capable of, and it launches you into the next thing. I will say also, things are changing so fast that like when the traditional view of college is you go to college and you're done with college and you move on. I think what we're moving towards is a world where we're just going to have to expect that you're going to be in several different jobs throughout your career. You're going to have to reskill and upskill several times. You're going to have to constantly learn new things. The university is also going to have to change so that we can support you through those transitions. And so it won't be that you're just here for that intensive 4-year experience and then you move on. That we need to be actively connected even more with our alumni throughout their careers.
I agree, because one thing that my parents told me is college isn't about like just finishing stress. It's about finishing strong, so you can prepare yourself for the next for your life, the rest of your life. My next question is, what is your personal favorite aspect of the University of North Texas?
Mm. I have to say, the thing that gives me the most joy here is the students. So I told my assistant, she's responsible for my joy among my as well as my schedule. So I asked her to make sure I have joy on my calendar, and they color coded in green. And so every couple of days, it's sort of like you have to sort of like you're keeping your caffeine intake throughout the day so you can keep your energy up or something. So throughout the week for me, it will be drop by the jazz band rehearsal, or go meet the volleyball team, or go have lunch with the football coaches, or and their captains, and so the things that or the student advisory committee for me gives me a lot of joy, and that's inspiring group of students. So the things that let me interact with students, to hear their stories, to hear what they're excited about, what they're working on, what they're wrestling with, that gives me joy. That's why we're here.
Exactly. That's fantastic. Yeah, because it's crazy. I love talking with freshmen, and whenever somebody tells me they're a freshman, I'm like, oh my gosh, like welcome, because there's so many opportunities like that you're able to immerse yourself. There's so many people from different cultures and backgrounds, and it's about like bridging the gap and finding connection. Do you have advice for students who are still trying to find connection and friends in their place?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I think that connection is so important. When I get up in front of the freshmen, tell them some of the best advice that I've heard about how to navigate college successfully. It's the 4-3-2-1 graduate plan, and so the idea is you want to graduate in 4 years. You want to maintain a 3.0 GPA. Don't let your GPA slip below that. 3.0 should be your floor. You need to make sure you're budgeting enough time to study, 2 hours for every hour you spend in class. But the one is, find at least one thing that you're going to get deeply involved in outside of classes.
Mm,
And
yes.
so it can be a club, it could be the Green Brigade, it can be student government, um, it can be a club sport, but it's really important to have one thing outside of your classes that you're going to be deeply engaged in, that helps you build those friendships, that helps you blow off steam, that helps you be connected. Whenever students stop out or drop out of the university, more often than not, they weren't connected. And sometimes students, especially freshmen, will say, "Well, I really want to focus on my schoolwork. I want to, this is a big change, big transition. I want to study. Maybe I'll get involved later." Don't wait. So find one thing that you're going to get deeply involved with, um, to give you that other connection to your students, or to your fellow students.
Yes, and don't like leave. You have to stay in it and be dedicated for the long haul.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is hard. I mean, college is hard. It's going to challenge you. If it's not, we're not doing our jobs. Like if it feels easy, if it feels comfortable, then we're not pushing hard enough. You're not pushing yourself hard enough. So college is supposed to challenge you. It's supposed to change you. It's supposed to help you think more critically, to be better at your how you communicate, how you work in teams, how you pursue whatever your craft is, whatever your discipline's going to be, um, and and then that kind of development can be really painful at times, and
Yeah.
it can be so tempting to say, well, I'll just settle for the B plus, or I'll just I'll just skate just a little bit, take your foot off the gas pedal just a little bit. Maybe not. Maybe I won't push myself to see what I could really do, because this is good enough. Well, you're selling yourself short whenever you tell yourself that kind of narrative. That's not why you're here. Why you're here is to take advantage of this opportunity to see how far you can go, to see what kinds of things might interest you, to see like um, how how to to see how much you could contribute.
Yeah, 10,000%. Um, we're going to kind of segue into kind of sports. Are you excited for the game on Friday?
I am so excited for the game on Friday. I've gotten a lot of emails about. We just sent out we sent out some emails. Our student government had passed a resolution calling for us to suspend classes Friday afternoon so that we can clear some more space for students to be able to participate in the pregame activities and come out to the game. And so I'm delighted that we have done that. We are canceling classes on Friday, and want to make sure that everybody comes out. And with athletics, also, we've been able to offer up 2 free tickets to our faculty and staff members. We want to pack the stadium. Our team and Coach Morris are on an incredible trajectory, and we need to show them all the support. This is really historic for the Mean Green to have this kind of momentum going into the middle of the season. So I hope to see everyone there.
Most definitely. My brother's his high school football team, they're taking 100 students to the game as a field trip. So he's going to be coming over.
Excellent. Well, we need to sell out the DACU Stadium. I mean, this is really an important game for the Mean Green, and let's come out and get behind our team.
10,000%. Now, do you have any last remarks that you would like to share with your students, faculty, staff, parents, and students who are about to embark on their new college journey?
Yeah. So, especially let me say for people who are trying to decide whether they should go to college or what sort of college they might want to go to, there are a lot of different colleges that are out there, and there are a lot of great schools. A lot of schools are going to be especially good fits for students that are just. Let me say it this way, like the students that you knew in high school that were just really focused on doing their homework. There are a lot of colleges for those students, right?
Yes.
If you're somebody who you think outside the box, you're a creative problem solver, you want to do things differently, you want to move faster, we want to be your university of choice. So UNT is an incredibly special place. It's a combination of a community, not only like we pride ourselves on how much we care for our students, but that care comes through a combination of holding you to very high standards, but meeting you where you're at, providing you high support to be able to take your talent as far as you want to take it. And so we want to be the university of choice for every qualified student who looks in the mirror and sees and sees themselves as that sort of student.
Most definitely. I told one of the new transfer students, I said, if you leave your dorm long enough, you'll get any opportunity that you want. I mean, it's that simple. It's shaking hands, just being in the room consistently.
Absolutely. I think you said it earlier that like just to be connected, like one of the best. So you're around all of these incredibly interesting, talented people, like folks who bring all kinds of interesting stories and backgrounds, and this is a time of your life where you're around an unusual concentration of people who you not only have all of these different kinds of stories and capabilities, but have so much in common with you because
Yeah.
they're part of your university, right? And so you want to drink deep of that. You want to, like it say, make new friends in the classes. Go ahead and take the risk to reach out and introduce yourself to people. Ask them how their day is. Ask them what they're doing, what they're excited about. That person might turn out to be one of the best friends you're ever going to make. And so the the key to success in college is to remember that college is not a solo sport, right?
Yeah.
It's something you got to do together with other students, with the faculty. That's how you're going to drink deep of this experience.
Most definitely. I heard this quote, and especially in the film world, I feel like people are really focused on networking up instead of networking out, because these are the people, who are you're going to need for your projects, or who might be the president of Amazon Studios. And so you need to build relationships. These are your collaborators. These are people who have the potential to give you jobs, and you could also give them jobs. So staying connected and growing and learning how to build relationships with people who you may not have a lot in common, but learning how to find true, genuine connection and continue to build that over 4 years is a great skill, and has helped me in my college career so far.
That's great advice. I mean, it's great advice for college. It's great advice for life. That our happiness is going to turn less on our accomplishments, less on how much money you make, and it's going to turn mostly on the quality of the relationships that you're able to build. And so keep that in mind as you're going through your day. That it's worth developing those skills. It's worth putting yourself out there, because you never know who you're going to meet, who you're going to be connected to, and what that can turn into.
Most definitely. Most definitely. I talk about this with my friends frequently. Kind of like building a good balance now, because, those times where we are successful and have achieved all of our goals, that will just be our new normal, like high school was, like college was. So how are we building skills now that will help us enjoy all of that later in life? What is something that has kind of helped you ground yourself in your success, and also what are ways that you've been able to enjoy it?
So for me, it's really important that I have friends and mentors who I can talk to, who I can bounce ideas off of, who I can ask for advice. And so um, you need to have people in your life who can tell you when you have a bad idea. Or
Yeah.
you need to have people in your life who can also who've got your back when things get tough. And so for me, to keep me grounded, to keep me going. That's something that's really important, is to have people who I can ask for counsel and support, and that's family. That's friends. That's other folks who I know who have deeper expertise than I do on some of the issues that we're trying to navigate, and who I can ask for support. I can ask for partnership, and that helps me be better. It helps me move faster.
Most definitely, because it's all about humbling yourself and asking questions, getting into rooms where you know nothing and immersing yourself in everything.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I learned from my philosophy degree. So there's this great story about Socrates, right? That apparently the oracle at Delphi had had said that no one was wiser than Socrates, and there's some interesting stories about how that got reported and this kind of thing. So Socrates was delighted by this, of course, but he decided that that the only way this could be true, that he would be the wisest man in Athens, was because he knew that he didn't know anything. He knew the limits of his own knowledge, right? And so I think important for us to appreciate that that as good as you may be, or as wise as you may be in any given area, there are significant limits to your own knowledge, and some of that gets filled in by like ChatGPT and Wikipedia and stuff like that. But the most important thing for me is that it gets filled in, and we move forward by living in community and being in dialogue with people, and working together through really challenging problems, complex problems. So again, like for me, as a university president, this is an unbelievable, really complex place. The University of North Texas, we've got more than 44,000 students. It's $1 billion a year operation. We've got all of these different facets to our operation. I couldn't possibly understand everything I would need to know by myself to make good decisions across all those different aspects of our operation. So I've got to be able to work in partnership with other people across the university who know a lot more than I do, and then that helps me make better decisions. It helps us move forward together.
Most definitely. Thank you so much for coming on to the 2911 podcast. I am just so grateful that you took the time out of your day to sit and talk with us.
I'm so delighted to be here with you, Allie. I hope I get invited back sometime.
Most definitely.
And let me just say one more time that everyone needs to come out Friday the 10th and cheer on the Mean Green to another victory.
Most definitely. Thank you guys so much for listening. Tune in next week how we talk about a political science major who is now the president of a film club. Thank you guys so much. Goodbye.